Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Ryder and this is a beginner's guide to Hanzo. In this video, we will go over the abilities and playstyle of Hanzo so you can jump into the hero with some sort of an idea of how he works without kind of going in completely blind and quick play or competitive. Keep in mind, in order to really master a hero in Overwatch, it does require practice, hours of practice, playing the hero, getting used to how they work, and learning kind of the nuances and tips and tricks to it. I'm going to give you a couple tips and tricks and explain some of the strengths and weaknesses of Hanzo, just to kind of get you started, but it will take some practice to really get him down. As always, guys, please go down below. Please be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding that notification bell so you know when I post again. And please check the description down below where I have a link to my Twitch channel where I stream pretty regularly. But without further ado, let's jump in to Hanzo. So Hanzo is a DPS hero, and he is, in the right hands, one of the deadliest in the game. He is a sniper class, kind of like Widowmaker, and his only primary mode of fire is his bow and arrow. The single shot, you don't have to draw it all the way up, but to get the most range, you have to draw it all the way back and pew, fire it off. Now, Hanzo is very tricky to play due to the fact that the arrow has to land on the target, and you really want to try to aim and hit as many headshots as you can, because you can absolutely one-tap most heroes with Hanzo's arrows. As you can see, I'm just absolutely decimating these dummies by hitting them in the head. Now, with that being said, do not worry so much about just landing headshots. Obviously, headshots are preferable, but body shots will work just the same. This is going to be the main thing that's going to set you apart from other Hanzos, is the ability to take flick headshots and drop enemy heroes in just one arrow. I mean, dominate an entire game with this hero. Now, he does have other things to help him out, first of which is his Sonic Arrow. This Sonic Arrow, when you fire it off, it will... Well, son of a bitch. I just hit a target. Anyway, so the Sonic Arrow has a 10-second cooldown. When you shoot it at a location, it sends out a pulse, and anything caught in that pulse will be tagged through the wall, so you'll be able to see where they're standing. As you can see, the red marker there. This will allow you to line up some shots of some other targets when they're going around a corner, like I just did there. Very useful whenever you don't know what's coming around a corner, you don't know if there's somebody coming, and you want to line them just up. And it's also really good for lining up his ultimate, which we will go over later. He also has an evasive maneuver if he's getting dived or just getting focused, which is basically if he's in mid-air, you can hit the jump button again, and you will dash in whatever direction you're pressing. So if I jump and hit backwards, well, I went the wrong way, but it's got a 5-second cooldown, and you can basically jump and dash to the left, jump, dash to the right, jump, dash forward, stuff like that. It's a good way to kind of bob and weave if you're getting focused, or if you're getting targeted by another Hanzo. It's a good way to bob and weave. Keep in mind, when you're in mid-air, you are kind of static. You are kind of easier to hit. However, that dash to the right can make your life a little bit easier. You can also wall climb, which also, allows you to get to the higher locations, and you can, dive over, and it allows you to kind of go rooftop to rooftop and line up your shots. His other ability is his storm arrows. This is more like your rapid fire. When you get it, when you shoot it off, you are able to fire the next 5 arrows instantly. Full damage, and you just basically can just melt targets. As you can see, I can just sit there and just spam. They got 10-second cooldown on the storm arrows. These are very good when targeting tanks, shields. If you're trying to eat a shield away, and like a Reinhardt shielding you, you can just spam storm arrows into the shield. It'll drop it pretty quick. But it's mainly for high health targets that you want to drop, and you can just sit there and spam some arrows into them to really drop them low. As you can see, it does a pretty respectable amount of damage. And then, of course, his ultimate, which is Dragon Strike. Dragon Strike is a very nasty ultimate, especially when comboed with some of the ultimates in the game. Basically, what he does is he will shoot an arrow in whatever direction you're pointing, and that arrow will turn into a huge dragon that will go through the entire map. Anything caught in the path of this dragon takes incredible taking damage, almost guaranteeing to kill them, as you can see here. There's your dragon, and it's going to hit those over there and just absolutely drop them, and it goes through walls. So, as you can see, it killed both of them, and it killed the one that was over here. So keep that in mind. You don't have to be in line of sight of the enemy for the Dragon Strike to kill them. It can go right through the wall and absolutely eat the enemy team. This is also why I said the Sonic Arrow, which tags enemies through walls, is so useful when comboing with your ultimate. If you're going down a pathway or you're pushing a point and you believe that the enemy team is down a certain hallway, you can sit there and you can fire off your Sonic Arrow like this, and it'll tell you, oh hey, there's 2 targets over there. Boom, let's Dragon Strike it. And they're not even going to see it coming because they won't know there. So these are all things, you know, you want to be smart about Dragon Strike. You want to try to catch as many people in it as what you can. 1 or 2 picks is still better than none. But, you know, if you can combo with other ultimates or, you know, maybe flank behind the enemy team to where they don't expect it coming from behind them or from a certain side. You know, the voice line is going to give it away that it's coming, but they don't really know what direction it's coming from. I like to, if I have the ability to, I like to flank behind the enemy team and fire off my Dragon Strike from behind them, because the instantaneous reaction to most teams is to back up away from wherever they're going because they expect that location to be targeted. So when they're backing up, they're not expecting it to come from behind. Not a lot of the time, it doesn't always work, but it's a kind of a trick that I do sometimes, and it has shown some value. As far as some tips and tricks with Hanzo, first and foremost, landing arrow shots. It's very important to know how to aim with Hanzo. You never want to aim directly at the target. At a moving target. Like if this target, now obviously these dummies are all pretty static except for these ones over here. If I shoot at this moving target and I try to shoot directly at that moving target, there's a pretty good chance that I'm gonna miss the target. Now I'm used to, it's hard to break habit, but like if I'm shooting, I shot at the robot as it was coming past my cursor. Thus I missed. You gotta account for travel time. So for Hanzo, you want to try to predict the movement of the enemy player. You want to try to predict what movement they're going to make, because then your arrow will be traveling in that direction. So in this case, I know that this robot here is going to be moving back that way, so I just shot it ahead of it and it hit it. Same here, I shot it ahead of it and it hit it. Same thing, bam, hit it there. Bam. Well, I missed that one, but I'm not a rank 1. But as you can see, if you know where the target is going, or you're able to kind of predict where they're going to move, you can land a shot in the direction, and they're going to move right into your arrow. So that's kind of a tip on how to land those arrow shots. It's very, very useful. As for comboing with ultimates, a good ultimate to combo with is always going to be a Zarya. If you are running a Zarya in your team, try to hold your Dragon Strike for the Graviton Surge that Zarya has. Now, you're going to gain ultimate a lot quicker than Zarya does, so you don't have to hold every single one of them, but about every other Dragon Strike that you get, try and check, make sure, see if Zarya is close to ult, communicate with the Zarya, and wait for that Graviton Surge to happen, because if that Zarya is very good at what they do, and they grab the entire enemy team, they are just easy pickings for you to shoot that Dragon Strike right off and just absolutely decimate. I just shot that into the floor. Anyway, absolutely decimate an enemy team. I've seen some nasty plays with Dragon. A couple other things that you can do. Sombra's EMPs can get rid of a lot of barriers. That's a good way to do it as well. Mei's ult, the Blizzard, is also a good thing to combo with Hanzo's ult. All of these things, basically anything, Orissa's ultimate that sucks them in and slows them, anything that really slows them down and keeps them in one location for just a couple seconds for you to launch that Dragon Strike through them is going to give you a ton of value and allow you to just melt through enemy teams. As far as weaknesses and strengths to Hanzo is very strong against your lower health heroes. He can absolutely one-tap a Tracer if you land it. He can absolutely one-tap a Genji if you land it. But at the same time, he's also very weak against dive heroes. Dive heroes like Tracer, Genji, Winston, Diva, these heroes that get up in Hanzo's face make his life a very difficult maneuver because he himself only has 200 HP. He won't survive long in an out-and-out 1v1 fight if he is being focused by someone that knows what they're doing. So if you're being dived and pushed out of position to where you cannot land your shots effectively, definitely consider switching off of Hanzo to another hero. This is a counterplay game. Keep that in mind. You don't want to one-trick a hero. If you're being countered, you need to swap up to try something different to get a little bit more value. If you're not able to land shots as Hanzo because you're being harassed nonstop by a Genji or a Tracer, then and it's not being stopped by either your tank or your fellow DPS or anything, then you really need to think about, okay, well, this isn't working for me. I'm not giving my team any value like this. I need to swap to something that's going to not be countered as hard by this hero. Now, as far as strengths that Hanzo has, healers. Any healer can Hanzo can pick off healers so quick. Mercy, Zenyatta, Moira, Baptiste, any healer. The healers do not have a large health pool, so he can absolutely just one-tap a lot of the healers, if not two-tap them. He can melt through a lot of the tanks that don't have shields. The Roadhog can be melted through the Sonic arrows. Same with like a Wrecking Ball. He's just a big-ass target for Hanzo. All of these things are things that he's very, very strong against, as well as things that need to be up close get him. Junkrat, Reaper, May. These heroes are all ones that will struggle to get after a Hanzo that knows what he's doing, because all three of those heroes need to be up and close to their target, and they won't be able to do so quickly like a Genji, Diva, or Tracer can. So, if you see the enemy team is running these types of heroes, then Hanzo might be a good pick to go in there, and you can just punish them for playing the low-range healers, or the low-range DPS, the low-range targets that aren't going to be able to contest you easily. So keep that in mind. But anyway, that there is the beginner's guide to Hanzo. If you guys liked what you saw here, please hit the like button or subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you have any further questions, comments, or anything like that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.